The biggest impediment to moksha. Galava was a disciple under sage Visvamitra. At the conclusion of his studies, before taking the leave of his master, he said, "Guru Varya, please give me an opportunity to offer you something as Guru Dakshina." To this, Visvamitra lovingly said, "Galava, you did a lot of service for me during this period, for which I am very pleased. There is nothing more I need." To this, Galava insisted on. Finally, Guru Visvamitra said, "If you insist, I need 800 horses that belong to a good breed, that are white all over the body, except their ears are black." What happens to Guru Dakshina? The story never finishes? I'm curious. Galava agreed and left Visvamitra. He soon realized what his guru asked is a very difficult thing. The more he thought about this, he got very worried that he may not be able to get it, and worried that he'll be committing a sin of not keeping his word for Guru Dakshina. Then he wondered if there could be someone who can help him, and thought of his childhood friend Garuda. He immediately went to Garuda and explained his problem. To this, Garuda replied, "Galava, this task is impossible for human beings. But do not despair. We can achieve this with divine help." Then, with Galava sitting on his shoulders, Garuda flew towards east. On the way, they crossed a Narration. Garuda felt that Galava may be tired, so he laid him on a mountain called Rushabha nearby. On the mountain lived a woman, a Vaishnava devotee called Sandili, who received them warmly and gave them a meal. As he was sleeping for the night, Garuda thought, "How nice would it be if this lady, Sandili, lived in Divyakshetra, holy Vaishnava place. Maybe I can drop her." The next day, when they tried to leave, Garuda's wings stopped working. Galava asked Garuda, "My friend, did you commit any sin?" To this, Garuda thought real hard and told Galava his thoughts about Sandili the night before. To this, Galava said, "Wherever a sincere Vishnu devotee lives, that place becomes Vaikuntham, the abode of Vishnu. You have committed a sin by wanting to move her to someplace else, even though it is just a thought. But a sin is a sin, and you must redeem yourself of the sin by asking her forgiveness." To this, Garuda begged Sandili to forgive him, and miraculously his wings began to work. Saint Ramanujacharya's prime disciple Kurathalavan had a disciple named Pillai Alavan. Pillai initially was very proud and had a lot of ego that he was born into a Brahmin family, due to which he learnt all the scriptures no one could learn. He was a scholar because of his birth and high standing in society. He also used to pass derogatory remarks to the other devotees, causing mental stress to them. Kurathalavan came to know about this. He felt that although Pillai had great scholastic abilities and he was very disciplined in daily rituals, he would be tainted by such a trait of having Bhagavata Panchara. To avoid this, he was waiting for an opportune time. During one of the zodiac transits, Kurathalavan went to the river to take a bath, and saw Pillai also at the river to take a bath. He waited for Pillai to finish his bath and waited for him. Meanwhile, several devotees came and sought to receive blessings from Kurathalavan. Even Pillai came and prostrated to take his blessings. After that, Pillai began to leave, and Kurathalavan said, Pillai, I had been waiting here for you. Why are you leaving? To this, Pillai said, Forgive me. Please state your command. I shall obey. Then Kurattalavan said, I am waiting here to seek a charity from you. Then Pillai said, O Master, there is nothing in the world that belongs to a dasa or a slave. All belongs to the Master, who is the embodiment of God. To this, Kurattalavan said, I will not ask you what you inherited from your forefathers, but I will ask you something about your behavior. Think well, and if you really want to and can do it, after reciting your sankalpam, intent, take some water in the palm of your hand from the river, pour it into mine. Pillai then realized his mistake, did what was asked, and he went home. He was able to control himself, but after a few days, he went back to his original way of behaving towards other devotees. After realizing his mistake of not keeping his word, overcome with grief, they decided the only remedy is to sacrifice himself. So he went out without eating or drinking, even though everyone around pleaded him not to. Noticing that Pillai has not been coming to his place, Kurattalavan sent a person to inquire about Pillai. Finding out that he's trying to starve himself, the Guru went to Pillai's house. When Pillai prostrated and told his Guru of his mistake. To this, Kurattalavan said, Pillai, you realized your mistake. There is no greater punishment than repentance. God will always protect you. Always keep your tongue and speech under control. Always be at peace with yourself. This will always protect you. Kurattalavan ensured that Pillai broke his fast, and from that day, Pillai always behaved good with the other devotees of God. After Krimikanta's death, Kurattalavan was able to enter Sri Rangam into Ramanuja Mutt. He wanted to clean the ashram himself and mix water in the cow dung to clean. As he was spilling the water, it fell accidentally on the clothes of another devotee by name Tadiya Sekara walking by. He got mad at Kurattalavan and said, Are you blind? Didn't you see me? To this, Kurattalavan said, I am really blind. Krimikanta caused blindness to Kurattalavan, and he felt very sad about this. Later, Tadiya Sekara died and went to Yamaloka. Lord Yama asked him, You performed the sin of Bhagavata Pacharam to Kurattalavan, so you must atone for the sin, until which you will not get moksha. To this, Tadiya Sekara went into the form of a dead pigeon and fell on Kurattalavan's feet to seek his forgiveness. During this time, Kurattalavan was in the temple procession in Sri Rangam, reciting the Divya Prabandham. Noticing that the sparrow is trying to touch him, and if that happens, he needs to sanctify himself with a bath before concluding the prayers, Kurattalavan tried to move away each time the pigeon came near. Then Ramanuja, realizing the pigeon is none other than Tadiya Sekara, his voice spoke thus, Kuresa, look at the pigeon and say Kshama, forgive, thrice. After Kuresa uttered these words, the pigeon left the body and travelled in a heavenly vehicle in the sky and uttered these words. This dasa did the sin of Bhagavata Pachara towards Kurattalavan. To pay for the sin, I took the form of the pigeon. For 6 months, by the grace of Ramanuja, I was cleared of the sin and attained moksha. The moral of this story: be may association with devotees of Vishnu, one will obtain moksha. By harming them, one will certainly go to hell and will be prevented from getting moksha.